Hey latte lovers, Marc here from Whole Latte Love. If you like style, simplicity, and solid build quality, say hello to my little friend here, the Stone Lite espresso machine. At under 9 inches wide, it's the slimmest brew machine we've ever reviewed that can brew espresso and steam milk at the same time. It's available in premium mirror finish stainless steel, white and black. Stone is made in Italy, just outside Milan, and it's basically the baby brand of Rocket Espresso, the same company known for high-end prosumer and commercial machines. So yeah, you got a good bloodline there. It's kind of like how ECM and Profitec are connected. Now, back in 2018, we visited Rocket and saw their compact portable Portavia machine, which kind of feels like the predecessor to the Stone here. Similar to Rocket, Stone is a design-oriented brand whose tagline is reinventing the coffee space. So the highlights: from power on, it's all warmed up and ready to go in less than 10 minutes. It uses a heat exchange boiler with an electrically heated group head under PID control for consistent brew temps. And you don't have to deal with the annoying flushing ritual most heat exchange boiler machines need. Controls? Well, you got just a power switch, a brew paddle, and a hidden eco mode toggle. No menus, no NASA training required. The Stone Lite here is compact. I mean, it's a really compact machine. It's just 8.9 inches wide, 17.3 deep, and just under 14 inches tall. It's the slimmest prosumer machine I've ever worked with. It's got a small footprint, but a fairly big punch. Water comes from a removable 1.2 liter tank. This cannot be direct plumbed to a water line. Up top, you've got a cup warmer that'll hold about 4 cappuccino cups. Beneath that, a handy valve for refreshing the boiler water. More on why that matters later. The brew group is a chunky 7.3 pounds of brass. It's PID controlled with a 200 watt element, standard 58 millimeter size. That's compatible with E61 portafilters. Pro filter baskets will fit right in there, as well as accessories like shower screen upgrades. The boiler, it's a 1.5 liter copper HX boiler with a 1,000 watt element, and that's encased in stainless steel. It keeps about 0.8 liters of steam headspace. Translation, plenty of steam power on demand. The controls are stripped down simple: a mechanical power switch, a brew paddle on the group, and a quarter-turn steam valve feeding a ball-mounted no-burn wand. A 2-hole tip comes stock on the machine, and it's compatible with other Rocket tips, including 3- and 4-hole options. With 6.5 inches of clearance, even your big 20-ounce pitcher fits under there. Large lattes for 2, not a problem. The front keeps it clean and minimalist, just that power switch and a small LED. That LED changes colors and blinks to show what's happening, like eco mode, low water, things like that. And since it's a simple mechanical switch, you can even run it on a smart plug so it's hot and ready when you roll out of bed. Design-wise, the square group head, paddle, and pressure gauge give it a sharp, modern look that sets it apart from the usual round and chrome machines. Steam pressure runs right around 1 bar, which sounds low, but remember, half boiler is dedicated to the steam. In testing, it frothed 5 ounces of milk in about 23 seconds, just a few seconds behind machines that cost way more, and that's not bad for something this slim. Cup clearance is 3.6 inches, plenty for cappuccino cups, and even if you want to throw a scale under there like the Varia Accu. There's no built-in shot timer, but hey, that's what those scales have anyway. Now, you'll notice there's no brew pressure gauge on this machine. Out of the box, it's set to 12 bar static pressure. That's similar to vibration pump machines from Bedzera and Rancilio. But Marc, you say, isn't 9 bar the golden rule? Well, yes and no. The truth is, you're probably not going to taste a difference unless you're really nitpicking or an extraordinarily good taster. And if you do want to tweak it, pressure is fully adjustable with a simple OPV adjustment inside. 4 screws off, twist a wrench, and you're done. I'll show you how to do that later in this video. The drip tray is going to look kind of small at first, and it's plastic. It's about 8 ounces of capacity there, but here's the catch: you don't need to flush this machine like a typical heat exchanger, so you're not dumping water all the time. Expect about 8 lattes before it's going to need emptying. It's magnetic mounted, so it's going to pop in and out cleanly. Just remember, you don't have a full indicator here, so don't push your luck and keep an eye on it. Finally, there's Eco Mode. A little switch behind the drip tray puts the machine to sleep after 60 minutes of no use, flashing the LED green. One flick of the brew paddle or power switch is going to wake it right back up. So let's start with the basics and make an espresso. For best flavor, you're always going to want to use fresh ground coffee from a real espresso grinder. And dialing in your grind size, it's just adjusting the grind size until your shot pulls in about 25 to 30 seconds. You grind finer, it's going to slow things down, grind coarser, and it's going to come out faster. That's easy math, right? Here's what you do. Grind fine enough initially that it clumps a little when pinched. Maybe see your fingerprints in there. Fill your portafilter, ideally weighed for consistency, but if you don't have a scale, just overfill it slightly and swipe level with the rim, tamp firmly and evenly so the water flows through nice and straight. Lock in, flip the brew paddle, and time your shot. Aim for double the weight out compared to the coffee you used in your portafilter. So if you dose 17 grams, you get about 34 grams of espresso in 25 to 30 seconds. If it runs too fast, just grind finer, too slow, grind a little coarser. You might nail it in that first try, but let's be real, it's usually going to take a few rounds, but don't stress, it's all part of the fun. Now for the good stuff. Let's do a milk drink. We're going to make a latte. Now the Stone Lite can brew and steam at the same time, so lattes are quick to do. For one big latte or two smalls, fill a 12-ounce pitcher with about 5 ounces of milk, purge the wand of any residual moisture, then start steaming with the tip just below the surface to sip in little bits of air. That's what makes the tiny microphone bubbles and gives you that luxurious texture. As the milk expands, lower the pitcher just a little bit to keep the tip just under the surface. Now, once the outside of the pitcher warms up, you want to take the wand deeper and angle it to create a whirlpool. That'll stop the introduction of air, and that swirl is going to break down big bubbles and smooth out the texture. Now, you're going to want to stop steaming when the pitcher's just getting that too hot to hold point, about 140 Fahrenheit, 60 Celsius, where milk is at its sweetest point. Once you're done there, close the wand, wipe it down, and then purge it to get rid of any residual milk. From there, tap and swirl the pitcher to polish the milk and help break up any more bubbles you might have. Then pour a little into your espresso. Swirl it in the cup to mix it in, then continue pouring to finish. Now, it's going to taste great just like this, or with some practice, you can flex with some latte art. Now, check my link in the description for what I think is the best beginner frothing tutorial video. It takes you through the basics right through to pouring that first latte art. Well, the Stone really is a milk drink champ. It can do Americanos too, one of my favorite drinks. For those, you're going to want to pull your espresso first if you're going to take the hot water from the machine. Now, I used a double shot straight into an 8-ounce cup. Classic ratio is about 1 part espresso to 3 parts hot water, but you can adjust that to taste. Now, here's the catch. You can't get hot water out of the tap of this machine, so you'll need to get water either from the group after purging and wiping the screen so you don't get grounds in your cup, or from an external source like a kettle. And here's a tip for that. Now, you're gonna wanna make your espresso first, then add the hot water from the group. Doing it the other way around will mess with the brew temps until the machine reheats from dispensing all that hot water. Now, you could get water from another source and reverse the order, doing the espresso over the hot water, and that's gonna make you a long black. I came across some other reviews of this machine that got something wrong, so let's clear it up. Brew pressure is adjustable on this machine. Now, out of the box, the Stone Lite runs at 12 bar static pressure, and that's a common setup with vibration pump machines. It's actually fine, especially if you like dark Italian roast. But if you want the classic 9 bar setup, it's easy to get there. Now, I personally tested this so you can adjust pressure accurately even though the machine does not have a brew pressure gauge. To do it, all you gotta do is just remove 4 screws on the right side panel and pull that off. Then using a 12mm wrench, turn the OPV adjustment counterclockwise 1 1/3 turns. In my testing, that's gonna get you 9.5 bar of static pressure, which results in a max of 9 bar during an actual espresso extraction. Both heat exchange and dual boiler machines can concentrate minerals in the boiler, creating steam over time. And that can lead to limescale, which is the #1 cause of problems in espresso machines. Now, the Stone Lite, you don't pull hot water from the steam side, so refreshing the boiler is extra important. Luckily, it's really simple to do. All you gotta do is just heat the machine fully, then turn it off. Place a medium-sized cup under the steam wand and cover with a cloth to prevent any splashes. Use a screwdriver to open the refresh valve under the cup warming surface, then open the steam tap and leave it open until the pressure gauge reads 0. Then close the steam and refresh valves, turn the machine back on, and it'll refill itself. Do this every 2 to 4 weeks, depending on use. Refreshing the boiler and using properly softened water, I'll tell you how to do that in a minute, is easy insurance against limescale. All right, let's get into the nerdy stuff here. Warm-up time. Thanks to the assist from the electrically heated group head here, from power on, it's less than 10 minutes for the Stone Lite to fully warm up and be ready to both brew and steam. In my test, the actual time to a nominal 1 bar was 8 minutes 15 seconds. That's equal to or better than competing machines, even some of those that have fast heating features. For noise level, I measured sound at an average ear level at an operational distance. As the extraction starts, it hit a max of 82 decibels, then quickly dropped into the mid to high 50s. Here's a listen to what that sounds like. With a louder initial start, the final average came in at 68.2 decibels. For reference, mid-50s is a quiet home and upper 70s is comparable to the inside of a car while driving. To check brew temps, their consistency, and how fast shots can be pulled, I did a series of 10 extractions using a K-type temp probe mounted directly into a double shot filter basket. Now, my method measures the actual temperature within the coffee puck during real extractions. For my tests, I use a 1:2 ratio with 17 grams of coffee in, so about 34 grams of espresso out. Shot timing averaged about 27 seconds across the test. My temp data was logged at 1-second intervals, and no flushes were used during testing. If you'd like to watch all the tests for brew temps and steaming, I've linked that video in the description. Now, here are the results showing the average of temperatures logged at those 1-second intervals. Notice the interval between the tests, which ran from about 2¼ to 3½ minutes. Now, that's a pretty quick pace, probably a little faster than most people would use this at home. The results, honestly, much better than I expected. Keep in mind, this machine does not have a PID in the main boiler. You cannot adjust the brew temp, and you're going to want temps within a few degrees of 200. The results here, honestly, simply really good and wonderful. Perfect for medium to darker roast. I think the lifestyle target consumer for this machine will be using for milk drinks. Now, remember, no flushes were used, which in my mind helps further the ease of use lifestyle aspect of the Stone Lite here. Bottom line, in my testing, the Stone Lite is very capable of providing consistent brew temps without having to mess around with those messy flushes often needed on machines with heat exchange boilers. The design running the main boiler at a lower temp and then tempering that with the electric group heating works really well on this machine. To measure steaming performance, I used our standard test based on the SCA method, timing how long it takes to froth 5 ounces of fridge temp milk to higher than 140 Fahrenheit, which is 60 Celsius. I did the test 4 times and also measured how much water by weight was added during steaming. The average time for steaming across the 4 tests was just over 23 seconds. Comparing to other machines with heat exchange boilers, that's 3 to 4 seconds faster than the Profitec Jump and about 7 seconds slower than the Bedzera Luce. Water added by weight during steaming averaged just over 11.5%. In my book, anything under 12% is a very good result. For reference, the best performance I've measured to date came from a Bedzera Luce at a hair under 9%. Now, when I do steam tests, I also check boiler recovery times. That is, how long the machine takes to get back to the pressure it started at before steaming. During those steaming tests, recovery was essentially instant with the 0.8 liters of headspace in that boiler. Don't let the gauge fool you. Even at 0.5 bar, there's still plenty of steam power left in there. Now, when I opened the steam valve and let it rip for 2 minutes, it took about 40 seconds for full recovery. Bottom line here, the 2-heater design of the Stone Lite works really well. You get consistent brew temps, plenty of steam, and no flushing required.
So let's take a look inside the Stone Lite. Really nice machine, compact, lots of good parts and pieces in here. I like the way it's laid out. So we're gonna run through the way the water flows through the machine so you'll be able to see how it operates. We're gonna start over here. This is where the water reservoir fits onto. There's a ground wire there and a wire there. That's how it senses the water in the reservoir. There's an O-ring here on the bottom of the reservoir, so it's a good idea to keep that lubricated once in a while. So the water comes out of there, through a large particle filter. It's hard to see, but it's down in there. Then into the pump. Comes out of the pump through the stainless steel line, goes through this deaerator. This is great for removing air and help prime the pump if it needs it. Over here, you have a solenoid valve. That is the fill for your boiler. Over here is your OPV, very easy to adjust. And up here is the T. T's in with the deaerator, and the OPV goes back to the reservoir cup. And up here it goes into the boiler so you can heat your water. So to get out of there and get over to the group, you have this tube here, and that's how the water leads to the group, to this nice block in here. And this is heated with a cartridge heater. Heats up really quickly. I took the little cap off here. There's a cap like this here. I took it off so you can see inside there. There's a restrictor in there that if for some reason you're not getting any water through the group, just pull this cap off, 17 millimeter wrench, and there's a screen, just clean that out, and you should be good to go again. Up on top, we have there's your fill probe. There's your vacuum relief valve. Over here is your safety valve. And then we have your two high limits. This is the neutral one, this is one for the hot wires. There's a manual reset button right in the middle there. And then over here is your micro switch for your brewing. So when you turn the lever here, it's that micro switch, makes a connection, turns the pump on, sends water through. It's not like the lever on the E61, there's a big valve involved. This is very simple, very nice. There's your control board. That's basically it. And as you can see, everything is easy to access and super easy to service. They've done a nice job. I like the way they did it.
In the box with a Stone Lite, you're going to get a double spout portafilter, single and double shot filter baskets with capacities of about 11 and 17 grams, depending on the density of the coffee you're using, a back flush disc, a group head cleaning brush, a plastic tamper that will get you by in a pinch but really should be replaced, a really nice user manual, and the Stone Espresso handbook. For basic maintenance, I recommend back flushing with detergent once a month. So pick up a product like Ernex Cafizza. It can be used for cleaning portafilters and filter baskets as well. Like most manufacturers, Stone does not recommend descaling the machine, so preventing lime scale is very important. You really only want to use water that's been softened to reduce calcium. We recommend products from BWT Water and More, including their in-reservoir and pitcher-based options. Use those as directed and you'll have the mineral level needed for good flavor, removal of chlorination, and you're going to reduce that calcium so you're not going to get any scale deposits. Of course, great espresso starts with quality whole beans, ground fresh. The LX Newton 55 is an espresso-focused grinder, which pairs well with a Stone. Or over here, the Eureka Mignon Fat Chile is a high-quality budget option that has 50 millimeter burrs. So you're going to want to feed that grinder with some really nice whole bean coffees. Do check out our own medium to dark roasted coffees, including more traditional Italian-style bean blends as well. For consistent brewing, I do recommend an espresso scale. The Varia Accu series are excellent choices with mini, standard, and pro models to cover those doing just espresso, and they can also be used for other brew methods. Now, a scale isn't required, but will make dialing in grind size easier, and all the models I've mentioned have auto start timing functions that get you around the lack of a shot clock on the machine. To dress things down, so to speak, hey, why not get naked with a bottomless portafilter? Naked shots are not only beautiful and fun to watch, but help improve your technique. Now, all E61 compatible portafilters will fit in the Stone, plus you can use those 58 millimeter compatible pro brewing accessories like triple shot and other precision filter baskets and shower screen upgrades. Well, the included plastic tamper, can get you by in a pinch, but you're definitely going to want to upgrade to something more substantial. If you don't already have them, don't forget accessories like a frothing pitcher and a knock box. So who is the Stone Lite really for? Well, it's perfect if you love the idea of cafe-quality lattes at home, but don't want to fuss with complicated controls or endless tweaking. This machine is all about the lifestyle side of espresso. Quick heat up, stable brew temps, simple operation, and easy, powerful milk frothing with near instant steam boiler recovery. And it's all wrapped in a slim and stylish package. If you want to enjoy better than cafe results without turning espresso into a science project, the Stone Lite was made with you in mind. Now, if you're a coffee geek chasing single origin notes from a $50 a pound geisha, this probably isn't the machine for you. But if you want cafe quality lattes at home, better than most shops can pull, the Stone Lite here, it has you covered. Now, as always, if you have questions on the Stone Lite or anything coffee and espresso related, do use those comments and I'd be really happy to get you a detailed answer. Thanks for watching. I'm Mark, and if you love coffee and espresso as much as I do, be sure to subscribe to the channel and enable those notifications so you don't miss out on more of the best on everything coffee, brought to you by Whole Latte Love.